That's way too much rah-rah about me, because tonight, as I'm looking out here, it's all about you. And to tell you that I'm excited, knowing the history of this program and having been a part of the history of this program, to see what I call the future life changers in this room, knowing that you've come from such a solid program that has a rich and deep history, it just warms my heart. There's no place I'd rather be than here tonight. And I want to thank all your family members that are here, because they've made the impact on you to get you to this point. So I'm going to start off just briefly, and this is only a 15-minute talk, and a few of the things I'm going to tell you, there's only one thing you're probably going to really remember about this talk, and I'll point it out to you in a minute, is when I received a call from the president here in 1982, and he said, I hear you know how to set up a nursing program. And I said, yeah, I know how to set up a nursing program, but it's a lot of work, and I really don't want to do any more. And he said, well, would you consider just doing one more and coming and set up a program for us? And I said to him at the time, I said, yes, I will come, but I'm only a consultant. I'm not staying to teach, so just get that in your head now. But I ended up staying and teaching for 10 years, because that's just how special this place is. Anyway, so I arrived on campus, and Dr. Wall was in charge of me. He was head of the biology department. You've all suffered through biology, I'm sure, so you can appreciate a really good biology teacher, and he was. And so he said, would you like me to show you around? I said, yes. And he showed me the classrooms and all of this. And I said to him, well, you know, we're going to need a learning lab. I think you call them simulation labs. I said, do you have a room for that? He said, well, we'll find a room for that. Don't worry. And I said, and where's my office? And he said, well, about that. And I said, I'll go anywhere. It's not a big deal to me. And he said, well, I'm glad that you said that. And this is the part that you're probably going to remember out of this whole speech. And he went and he took a little key and he unlocked the door, and it was the broom closet. The broom closet. I'm going to walk through campus one of these days, because I'm sure that closet is still there. It was across from the auditorium. I said, oh, okay, do you think we can fit a desk in there? Well, we did. We cleaned it out. We fit a desk. We managed to get everything in there that we needed, a bookshelf and a phone, and off we went. So you've had some humble beginnings, but you have come to the point where you are a program of great distinction. And just the fact that your state board, your NCLEX exams are showing that is fabulous. So we started out, I hired 2 women, one in mental health and one in maternal child health, and I was the medical surgical person to come help me set up the program. We wrote the state board. We got this big volume we had to fill out, and we came to the campus and we started doing everything we needed to do. We actually wrote the curriculum. You didn't have curriculums. We figured it all out, and it was just, and to this day, those women are 2 of my best friends. We're always glad we've been nurses. We had long nursing practices as individuals, and we still get together for everybody's birthday. So you started out very humbly. The first class had 20 students, and I'm proud to tell you that when they graduated, those 20 students, for the first 2 years of the program, we had 100% pass the state boards. Well, for me to tell you how excited we were beyond excited. You know, none of the big universities, they couldn't say they had 100%. And we didn't have it just for that first class, but for the second. But when the 3 of us got the news that the first class had 100% passed the state board, we donned our little outfits, and we got an inner tube, and we had little snorkel and goggles, and we ran out of the building, and we jumped into the pond that is here on your campus. And we were waving little nursing flags and, you know, just praising the Lord for how smart our students were, paddling around. And as I was driving in today, I got to see that pond, and it's a little bit yucky, and I'm thinking, oh, yeah, okay. But what I want you to know is, a week later, a member of the faculty sent us a picture of an alligator that came across campus every night. That alligator came out of whatever woods was around and went for a nice little bath to catch a few fish to eat in that pond. So the second class passed, and we did not go into the pond. But I tell you all this because I want you to know what a foundation, what a history was laid for you and how wanted you were. Way back then, we anticipated your arrival. And we set up as great a program that we could, hired the best faculty we could find to get you on the road to being what? Extraordinary, life-changing nurses. It's a little emotional for me to look out here and look at all of you and know the impact that you're going to have as a nurse. Hundreds and hundreds and thousands of patients, you're going to impact their life. You're going to be someone that makes a difference to them. You may be the difference between life and death in them. And you've got the base that you need. You've got a great program. You've got a family that has supported you. Some of you are excellent multitaskers. Some of you are great problem solvers. Some of you are really good with the medications and can divide and conquer all those formulas everybody has and hang those IVs and get the vein the first time. Just a little side thing, I never was any good at that. Usually tried to find somebody else to start them because I didn't feel like I needed to put the patient through that. But what I want to say to you in just the last few minutes is, what is it that's going to make each one of you individually that special nurse, that life-changing nurse, that unforgettable nurse, that nurse that the rest of the staff will say she has a passion for nursing. She has a gift for nursing. What are some of the essential things that's going to get you in that level of excellence? And I would tell you from years and years of experience, not just being a nurse, but teaching nurses, the first place that it has to come from and the first thing you need to do is it's right here in your heart. It's here. It's who you are in your heart, who you are in your soul, what you believe, what you honor, what you care about. And each one of you is an individual in that. But that, it starts with that, a place in your heart that says, I want to make a difference. You're going to face some ups and downs in your career, but you're always going to have that heart to serve, to care, and some of you even to lead. The second thing that I want to say to you is, never, ever underestimate the power of touch. Touch your patients. Hold their hand. When you walk into the room, touch their shoulder. If you're able and it's your turn to give the baths, give them the bath and talk to them about it. Give them the opportunity to feel the human connection that you have, to feel your life source coming to them. And I want to tell you a little story. I only really remember vividly one patient that I had, and I was a fairly new nurse, maybe been practicing about 3 years, and I was young. And I was working the evening shift, and we had a little lady there that we knew was not going to make it very much longer. And she was on my end of the hall, and I was taking care of her. And it was time for me to go in and take her vital signs, her evening vital signs. And when I went in, she was turned on her side away from the door, and I walked over to her, and I touched her shoulder, and I called her by her name, and she turned over, and she looked at me and said, "Thank you, Lord, for sending me an Irish nurse to take care of me in my dying days." There's nothing I learned in school that could have prepared me for that experience with that woman, but who I was in my heart and what I had become as a nurse. I immediately sat down with her and I said, "I'm so glad I could be the Irish nurse for you tonight." She was very feeble. She talked to me for about 10 minutes. I was holding her hand rubbing her hand a little bit, occasionally touching her face, and she was telling me what her life was like in Ireland. I hope someday each one of you will have that sort of experience with a patient that you administer to, because it's in you, because you're going to have your heart going, and you're going to have that sense of touch going. And the last thing that I'm going to tell you that needs to be an important part of your practice, you need to learn how to lean into your faith. Take your faith with you wherever you go, whatever your faith is. There's probably many different faiths here in this room. But whatever your faith is, what has made you a stronger person that knows they can trust and go through troubles and land on their feet, whatever faith you have, take that with you into your nursing practice. Because again, that's you. That's part of what makes you special, what's going to make you an extraordinary nurse. And only you can give these three things to your patient: your sense of touch, your heart, and knowing beyond doubt that your faith will carry you through the most difficult times. There's times when you're going to be weary, and that's the time when you have to depend on your faith to pull you back up, dust you off, give you some well-earned rest, and put you back out in the world to take care of those people that need it. I just want to close by saying, what an honor to see all of you sitting here and just to have a few minutes of your time to just tell you just how extraordinary experience you're going to have being a nurse. I'm always been glad to be a nurse. I've said several times in my life, I've been a pretty good wife. I've been kind of a really good mother. I'm an extraordinary grandmother. But the thing that I always felt like I was best at in my whole life was being a nurse. And I hope that you all feel that same way when you're kind of as old as I am. Anyway, God bless you all.